So last few sessions, I had been looking for a tool to create a guitar chord scale block book with. I finally found something last session. I finally found something called FretFlip. I have since been in contact with the developer, and I'll be moving on with FretFlip and starting to put together some packages. Hello world, this is JWP, J-Board Beats, coming to you live from my living room. For around 20 years, I've been mixing and mastering music, rapping, songwriting. Recently started singing, along with everything else that goes with music production, such as graphic design and editing, photo editing, video editing. And for around 15 years, I've been using SynthEdit to make my own audio plugins. Check out my website, JWPsite.com, for my social links, latest news and updates, and public offerings. If you'd like to hire me for music mixing, mastering, instrumentals, or custom plugin work, I can be reached at jwpmas@gmail.com. As I mentioned, I've been using FretFlip now to build a guitar book. I believe I was doing, I'm just going to look here. This is supposed to be on a different screen. And then I want to go here, and I just want a new container. I just want to see where things have been sitting, because I know in my guitar I was doing D. Practice, D. E2 practice. Okay, so it's been, I don't lose anything. Doing my best to keep up with editing. I just haven't been pushing to YouTube, which is annoying, but I mean, I'll catch up eventually. There's this big block of things. I'm just looking for, yeah, here we go. F sharp major. Okay. So that's where I'm supposed to be. F sharp major. I wonder if I should just move on to G. So perhaps I'll just move on to G. So I'll start with G. Because yeah, my guitar stuff has been in D, and then my vocal stuff F sharp. So I want to get everything on the same page. Today is actually supposed to be a FL Studio jam. However, I can't move forward until I have bass, right? And bass, I mean I want to do G. Well, I wanted to do F sharp, but I want to do G now. So as well, as I was saying, I've been in touch with the developer. I can't remember his name off the bat. I think it's here. And he had given me access to sort of the beta or the test version. So it's a test FretFlip. So this is a more advanced version where we can now have export as SVG along with WebP. I don't know where that went. That should have asked me where I want to download, whatever. So that's great. However, the only issue is with it right now is that it doesn't save. And David from FretFlip, and he has given me access to 25 slots. Normally, when you sign up or when you're just using the website, I think you have to sign up to use the personal storage. You only get 3 slots. So now that I've gotten in touch with him, he has given me 25 for sort of the feedback he said. But I know that you can ask for an extension, and I'm sure he'll be happy to grant it. So right now, it's just this one. I can only save here as far as I know. So I'll sign in, because he said he's working out the specifics as far as, let's go sign in here. The saving system, he said that he's rebuilding the storage saving system or something. So I don't know how that's going to work as far as, how would I say, migrating. Okay, so let's see here. So these are here, temp storage. So what I'll do is I'll just start G and I'll see what happens. So let's go G major, and then, yeah, so it's fine. As well, a whole key situation, there's no way to, it looks like he did actually change that. Because this is root. And what was I on? F? Oh, no, it's not really. Okay, so I was on F sharp, I think. Or was it D? Is it just F? And yeah, it doesn't let you do sharps, right? I don't know why it lets you do sharps there and then not here, because this is supposed to be F A sharp. So that was an issue I was having. But I'm on to G now. So this is just, yeah, the system, the way it works. So G regular, I guess. And then this is a flat. It looks like a flat system. I don't know why I have flats here. As well, he had included the remove, I asked for this, remove the 0 per, what are they called? Chord fret kit. So, for example, if I want to go, let's just go like 4, I think it's 4, 5, to go vertical. No, this is going to be 4. To go vertical, it just automatically goes vertical. And then, what am I thinking? Oh, I went Triad major. Okay, and then, yeah, so like, I can remove the per, right? Because it's not here, but it's also, it's here now. So I'd prefer like not there and then here. Kind of thing. So let's see if that saves. I don't know if that's going to save very well. Let's see. Save as, make a copy. Data storage disabled for test. Okay, so it totally doesn't work right now. So in order to do these new perks and stuff, I have to just kind of deal with it later. I won't be able to save the work. As things sit right now, I just have this guy here and no SVG. So I'll work in here. I also want dark mode, I suppose, just easier on the eyes. Yeah, so there's no SVG here yet. So I can just export from here. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to save certain things. Is there like a blank initial presets? No? Yeah, there's no like blank. Start soloing. 3 notes per scale. I don't know what I'm looking at. I'm just like browsing here. I have no clue. Let's just get out of here and we'll go. I guess I'll just use. Oh, I'm not logged in, so I gotta log in again because it's a different website, so to speak. So I'll probably be able to go for maybe 2 hours. Let's see. So give me C, I suppose, and then what's going on here? Okay, so kind of things are all over the place a little bit. So C starting position 2, and then what I want to do G. So I'll say save as copy, and then I want to edit this. So G major. As well too, like what to do with. What to do with, is it done? It's a major copy. Okay, so it didn't change its name, I don't know why. Can I edit the name? So change it to this. There it is, okay. Okay, so chords first position. Why can't I edit this? There we go. And then I want this to be G. So G looks like a sharp. Let's see. G major scale. What's it called? Key. Key. What do they call it? Looks like Amazon. No. in the Amazon. Key guide, key signature. Consists of 1 sharp. Okay. So then, like the way it displays, why doesn't it automatically? Because if I print this, there's still going to be all those flats in the back. Yeah. So I can just do it manually. It's fine. I just don't know why it doesn't automatically do that for me. Because it is a flat system. E flat. Or E sharp. What do you mean E sharp? Is that a thing? C sharp. Everything else looks right, but why? Why is it making me think about this? Is there a G sharp? There's a G sharp, right? What the hell? Yeah, there's no E sharp. Why? E sharp. No, there's no E sharp. F sharp, G. Okay, see B flat 7, like why? E sharp. Right. I must not know what I'm talking about because I've never seen flats and sharp in the same key signature. Bone bag, just follow what's happening, bone bag. Yeah, I've never seen sharps and flats in the same key signature. Like I thought that was the whole point of key signatures, is to separate them. Is there? Okay, so let's just go to Gemini. I have to switch my screen here. Oop. Wrong screen. Gemini. And then like I'll just say why is fret flip displaying all the other notes as flats except for what? F sharp? F sharp, yeah. Except for F sharp. And why does it? Oh, for G major, for the key of G major. And why does it let me change? What is it? I guess I could show this now. Why does it let me change F into an E sharp? F into E sharp. I thought there is no thing as E sharp, but E flat. What am I looking at here? Flash. No, let's just go light. It's fine. Standard's fine. Go. A bottle of water. Experience common hurdle when learning music theory, specifically regarding how you spell music. The short answer is that E is technically a real note. What? It sounds exactly like an F, but it's only used in specific theoretical contexts when the rules of the musical grammar require it. What? No. Why forever uses sharps and flats? Music theory requires that every scale uses the same musical letters, yeah. This is to ensure that when you look at a musical stuff, you have one note per line of space, yes. In the key of G major, the notes are, yes. If you tried to replace that F sharp with a G flat, you would end up with 2 types of G's, G and G flat, and no F at all. I know that's not what I asked. By using F sharp, you preserve the one for every letter rule, which is foundational grammar of Western music. What's happening, Bobeg? Bobeg says hi. Why you see E sharp? You mentioned that you thought there was no such thing as E sharp. While it doesn't exist as a separate pitch on a piano, isn't it just because of the writing? Oh, so sorry about the bot. Let me fix my stream here. I'll do this first so that the ads don't kick in right away. I think you got like in at a good time where the ads aren't gonna jump on you. Yeah, so you still have a few minutes left. Let me go ahead and turn those down. And then the next one's not gonna happen for like a half hour. And then let me go over here and I wanna go to, who's my bot? Bitrix. And I'll get it to Bitrix? What? Botrix. Botrix? Botrix. There it is. And I'll get that guy to can it. Remember when I wrote tabs, I had those confusions as well. Integrations, chatbot. And I gotta turn off its message to say that this is a rerun because it's not. Usually a lot, like people don't usually stop in. I stream really early, so I don't expect people to stop in. But yeah, is this running? This isn't supposed to be running. Okay, so back here. Why, blah, 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 blah. The context for F would be simpler. The software is programmed to prioritize the mathematical and grammatical consistency of musical enharmonic equivalence. Yes, okay. I just joined an hour ago. So dope. Like my stream, right? Yeah. Account created 4 hours ago. Bro. Welcome to Twitch, I guess. Yeah? Like the first time. Well, I hope I can set the precedent for Twitch. It's pretty awesome. I wouldn't say awesome place. I feel like it's pretty decent. Like if you're new to Twitch and you're a musician, you're gonna be blown away. I was pretty blown away because like I thought I was good at music, or I thought, I had a lot of grind, or I thought, music was a certain way. But if you like explore Twitch and you see how many artists there are and all the variety and like all the different kinds of things people are doing, it's just like, it's so humbling. The people be on their grind. There's also different types of streamers. So there's a type of streamer called music feedback streamer. A lot of them, they're not artists per se, but they will, like, you can bring your music to them and they'll give you feedback in a degree. I used to do it. I just don't really make time for it anymore. I'm a technical feedback. So like I'll analyze music and I'll make sure that, things are mixed and mastered properly, not properly, but to a standard where you're not going to garbly goop your speakers kind of thing. Like just sort of where things sound decent, like a bass line kind of thing. It's an art, right? So everybody mixes and masters differently. Okay, context 16. You will almost never see an E sharp in the key of G major. If you see it in a tool like fret flip, it's likely because the software is allowing you to force a spelling that follows the one of each letter rule, even if it's musically unusual for that specific key. Rear plastic, just remember that while E and B feel like fake because they land on white keys on a piano, sharp, respectively, they're vital tools for keeping notation. Okay, so it's just because it's trying to do it mathematically. That's why I can create an E sharp. And then what else did it say? A B sharp? Is there going to be a B sharp? No, it's not going to be B sharp. Anyway, so I'm going to keep that in F. I was just like confused. Like, what the hell? F, yeah, okay. Is there an F? There's no F. I got to reset it now because I don't know. And then G. No, I don't think there is. Let's just go F and then G. Okay, no, they're still, okay, so they're still in sharp. That's a little annoying. Why? Oh, it's also got an E sharp. What the hell? Okay, so I'm just gonna like destroy it. Delete it. How do I even delete? I think it's here, right? There's a garbage can. Yeah, there is. Okay, so let's get rid of that. And why is this? Oh, because it's second position. Okay, give me a new one. Okay, this is the new one. This is G major. Give me major Ionian. and then G major. So what's going on with you today, Bone Bag? Are you just like scouring the platform, checking it out for the first time kind of thing? And then this is gray, and then I want to color my roots. G, 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 G. I hope you enjoy Twitch, and I'm sure you'll get your bearings once you start to understand it. There's a couple competitive platforms. I've found Kick. Kick is a competitive platform. It's like, it's not very lucrative for me. Twitch actually pays me. I've gotten like $0 from Kick, even though they're supposed to be like a bit better. And it's just, I feel like, I don't know if it's still there. I'm gonna play, but Kick is a little less strict, I guess, and it's a little more rude. So let's see if it's still there. So like in one of these things, in their like promo thing, there was this picture. Let's see if I can find it. So like these things here, ads are happening. All right, all ad break ends. I don't know why it's running now. Alright, yeah, I apologize for the ads. As I said, I attempted to push them later, and a lot of times it won't feed like a full 3 minutes of ads, probably because you're new. So if you watch a full 3-minute block, a lot of times it runs out of ads, so it'll just give you like 15 seconds or a minute. But having it set to 3 minutes will give me a whole hour of ad-free stuff. So yeah, in the Kick thing, there was like, in these comments on the picture on the Android Play Store or whatever, it said in here, oh, so you couldn't make it on Twitch, so your scumbag ass went to like Kick or something. I was like, holy fuck, like that's brutal. And one of Twitch's major rules is no oral sex suggestions or no oral sex depictions or just period, right? And then recently I've been seeing a lot of like sexual activity on Kick and like things like that, like straight up blowjobs on Twitch, on Kick, like under the covers, like covered up, but like straight up. So definitely a different place. Yeah, I don't really, I stream on Kick, like my reruns go to Kick. I run reruns throughout the day after I'm done, but this is actually live here, the rare opportunity to catch me live. Yeah, so there's other places if you want to check out Kick. It's sort of like Twitch. It's just a different ball game kind of thing. I don't really mess with it. I used to multi-stream. Of course, there's live streaming on YouTube too, but it's so hard to like find live streaming. Like when you go to YouTube, it's just here and there you'll see when someone's live, but there's not like a live channel. It'll show you like who's live, and then like say if you want FL Studio, you can kind of find your way to live, but it's not like everybody's live, right? So you have to go filters and then live. Yeah, so I don't know, I can't really show anybody kind of thing right now. Okay, it kind of does show people. Okay, yeah, and a lot of times these guys are multi-streamers too, so they will be on Twitch as well, and it's just a different ball game. There's a lot of people streaming right now. There's a lot of beat makers going on right now. They're the same channel. They're the same channel, but they're live. How does that work? Beat Cook-Up Marathon. I don't know what's going on there. And then there's TikTok too. I don't really mess with TikTok. Because it's like a Chinese site. It's not specifically that I don't like Chinese sites. It's just, it's really security. Every time I log in, I have to log in again. And then it'll kick me out the next time I try to visit. And then sometimes it'll say you are committed illegal activity, and it'll just totally block me from the whole TikTok site. And then I have to go back like a half hour later, and it's stupid. Especially if like I'm trying to do something. No, forget TikTok. Anyway, G major, and then I want just 5. I don't know why. I think it's just from the previous set. Yeah, okay, so I just have to 5, and then I want 0 fret, and I want 4 fingers. And look at that whole block right there. Okay, so I'll just go 4 fingers, and then, oh, it switched itself. Okay, I don't want that. And then I want to edit this to C major 2nd position, G major 2nd position. So did you have any questions about Twitch or anything in general, considering what I'm doing? Okay, so I can't get rid of 0 fret here for now. I can use this button, but I'm just going to keep it active. I will color this G though. I gotta get rid of these C's. No, U. Go away. And U, I want to turn on the paintbrush, right? And I'll push this. I think it's just down like that. Yeah, and then I can color G. Okay. Is this platform just to create the melody? So this is, I'm creating like a guitar book. I was supposed to be in the lab today. Like some of my previous sessions, I set up, I have a MIDI guitar and I have a MPC sample, and I have a microphone. I have this like the mask so I can practice singing, but generally when I'm doing my jam, I don't wear it because I don't have enough USB ports, but for the most part, I just like, I'm not writing. So this is, I require something to look at. And these are scales for guitars, so you follow along, you know, do when you're playing. So this is a practice book. I'm creating a practice book, and I had a hard time finding tools. I was using Chords, but Chords goes a little too hard. I don't really, it just kind of, it's not really what I want. So if I go search, it'll show me like all of these scale things, and then there's like holes in the middle, and like I can't use this. This is taking too long, and I can't, it just isn't working. And then I also have Table Edit, and Table Edit will help me visualize chords, and it'll or help me visualize like tabs and chords. I think it's more chords. So I did have some stuff. I think like a regular G major was like 3 and 0, I think, right? Oops. And then I could stick a chord in there like that. And that's as far as I got. And it was just like, what am I doing kind of thing? So like this, and then like that. And then that's sort of a, what is that, a G? Right? And it's just not working. So I dug around and I found fret flip. And fret flip allows me to create images of what are called scale blocks. And scale blocks are that scale for practice. It actually stems from Word. I have a practice book I created, and I was using assets from somebody else's website. The website's no longer around. The website was called Guitar Friendly. So this is a scale block, and this is sort of how you practice, follow along, and learn a scale. And then these are bar chords, but I want triad chords, and triad chords are only 3 notes, so to speak. And yeah, so that's what I'm working on, is putting together a book. And then when I sit down and I jam, I can just look at the practice book and I can grab a scale, or I can, you know, put together the chords and then stay within that key. And yeah, it's taking it took a little bit of time to get here, but I'm here now. So continuing along, this needs to be G, F sharp. There's the F sharp again, which is fine, but I want these guys to be sharps too, because there's no point in having, let's see, okay, and then sharp and D sharp, okay. Because yeah, there's no point in having the background stuff, because when I print it, it'll print those flats too, which is annoying. So if it's in the key of sharp, then it's going to stay in sharp. Look, I got a flat in there, which is annoying. A couple flats. How do I get rid of that? I can't. I just have to turn them off. Oh, I have to turn them off. That's no good. Is that like a rest symbol? No, it's sharp. I don't know why it's printing flats. Yeah, look, it doesn't matter if I set them to sharp. It's still going to continue to print flats. That's annoying. Whatever, I guess. There's nothing I can do about it. It's a free tool, so I guess I should just be happy. Yeah, it's still printing flats. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll save, and I'll jump into the new one, and I'll see if it's still doing that. Okay, so G. These are set up. Let's set them up to be sharps. Sharp, sharp. And then what happens? Are they still... Why is it that way? So it's printing sharps, but why is it up and down? Because it's 4? I think because it's 4. What the hell? Okay, so I'm gonna have to tell the developer that, yeah, when I set it to vertical or horizontal, it's still printing vertical when it's at 4. I bet if I went like 5, it'll flip it manually or automatically, right? Yeah, okay. But I don't want these. That's the issue. I mean, I can turn them off. Right? And then print. Yeah, and then they're no longer there, but they're also whole notes. That's fine. They're supposed to be. But the main point is, yeah, those background guys are sharps, which, I mean, it's just me nitpicking. I just don't want to be distracted. Of course, if it's a sharp key signature, then it should display sharps, not flats. Nitpicking, I don't care. I'm just going to keep going here. But I do have to tell the dev that... yeah, I got to tell the dev. Mail. Oops, not that one though. I want my business account. And then let's follow up with them here. I'll say reply David, when printing in the standard platform, example G major, I set the notes to display as sharps as it is a sharp key. The print is still showing the flats. This doesn't happen in the test platform. However, if my scale block only has 4 frets, it will export the image vertically instead of the set horizontal. No worries about the sharp display, but the 4 fret export may be considered bug. Be considered a bug? Maybe? What's wrong with my grammar? What? Maybe. Horizontal, what's wrong with horizontal? Horizontally? No. Orientation. Okay, whatever. Continuing along. Second position, okay, what's the third position? Third position starts at 3, 5, that starts at 5, okay. So give me another one, can I just duplicate this? G, 4, 2 to 6, that's right. Okay, so let's duplicate this. G major, third position. And do I gotta paint any G's? I have to move it up first. Okay. So it starts at 5, and looks like there's a previous note here, but the issue is if I don't include it, I don't even have like the G thing. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. B, G. Because if I don't include it, it's not going to sound right. Because it'll go do 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 do, and then it'll skip one. Like it won't flow together, right? That's why that's included. Maybe I should be looking at GA. File and open folders. Guitar practice book. Well, aren't you gonna take me there? Do I have guitar practice book? C dog? What? Guitar book? Scales, I don't know. Study guide. Guitar. Worksheets. Okay, I don't know what's going on here. Open the window. I mean, it should be there. C. Here it is. Okay, so G. Word could not. Okay, whatever. What was I looking at? Guitar study guide. G. Okay, so here's G. So yeah, it looks like it has like that F sharp, right? Which again is an issue. If I don't include it, it's not going to step right. We go from F sharp to G. So F sharp to G. And if I don't include this F sharp, it's not going to sound right. GA. So I guess that's how I can calculate it. So, because I need like the notes to flow properly. And then where there's situations where there's double notes, because I know there's double notes sometimes. If we go G, A, and then like, or EAC will hit like a D here, right? A D here. There's situations where it's in reach, but like if you try to include it, it'll D, you know, when you're climbing the scale, it'll play the same note twice. So the situation is, why does it say C? It's G. It's supposed to be G. Okay. What I want to do here, I want to calculate, right? So I guess I can get around that by doing this, adding like a fifth. And then I can see here what my notes are. So E, I'll just include this anyway. G is the root. G, yeah, G sharp, no, A. So 2 A's, I gotta pick an A. We'll climb with the A, so I'll get rid of that. A sharp, B, C, and then there's D. There's also D here, so I'll include that one. It should like try to stay within the 4 range, right? 4 fingers. So D, D, and then E again, F, F sharp. And of course G up here, so let's get rid of that one. And A, A's there, B, C. So this is one of the situations where there is 2 notes beside each other, or I can keep this one. I can keep this one and this one, or this one and this one, right? So, but for finger's sake, like I could keep this B and skip that one, but like for flow's sake too, I want to keep the open. So let's just nullify those 2. C, C, C sharp, D, and again an E, so I can reach, or I can keep that one, or in this case I'm going to keep this one, and then F sharp, G, and I think that's it, right? And then I want to come back down. It'd be nice to end on E, but that's fine. And then I can just nullify A there. So there's not really any real point of keeping. And then what did the original say? The original said keep this F sharp. sharp here, D, E, F sharp, D, E, F sharp. Okay, so yeah, it's kind of out of range, but not really. It's just because like we have the open fret too, right? So in 1, 2, 3, 4 fingers, it just looks out of range, but it's really not. And then in the second position, of course, there's nothing else out of range. I'll keep that 5th fret. It's fine. Okay, second position, 2 to 6. Let's go 2 to 7, just so it doesn't bump. And again, this position, I'm not even going to calculate it. I'll just fall back. I don't need this. I can turn them off, I guess. Just for the smell of it. And then drop the last whole bit here. How many notes is that? I think that's too many, eh? 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's too many. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's too many. Okay, so let's back it up. And then third position. Oh, I gotta copy this. Didn't I though? Yeah, okay, so it's right there. Third position starts at 5. So this was the issue I was having, that we're reaching out, right? So now we'll be able to determine if that's actually the best move. Do I have any extra G's? Oh, I actually want to move it first. So 5, we'll start with 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is 5. 5 slots, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that really... Why am I missing the B here? Okay, so I'll reset the scale. Let's just do like that. Yeah, there it is. Okay. And then G, is this one right? Did I just do the second position? Bugger. Okay. I can swap these around, right? Can I undo? Is there an undo button? There is not. Okay, so this is kind of already going, so I'm just going to push this down. And then I'll just rename them. And I'll redo my second position again, I guess. To what? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 to 6, just to have that extra fret there. This is second. Okay, and then that's good. G's, do I have any G's? I do have a G to paint here. Paint that G. Get it there. 2 to 6. Second position on the whole block. Drop these. Ooh, that's not what I want. Interesting how the paintbrush stays on. I thought if you close the whatever this is, the labeler, what do they call it? What do they call it? Marker? The marker. If you close the marker, it would stop painting, but I guess such is not the case. Just looking at them. BCGD. Looks good. So if I change the scale and then I move it into another one, it's going to reload it. Or it'll remember and it won't reload it. So I have to reload the scale every time. It's fine. Give me the paintbrush. No, paintbrush. G. That's it. Let's get it over there and out of there. I think I can go for another hour. But I do need a BRB. Okay, so drop these. Yeah, and we can see these extra notes here kind of thing from the fourth. But the position is actually 5 to 8. I wish I could add like a drawing to say like this is where the thing is. But I guess I'll figure it out because like your hand mostly is going to be here. And then these guys are kind of sitting out because you want to move, right? When you're doing a scale, of course you want your 4 fingers to be optimized, but also if you have to move, you have to move. So it looks like B, B, yeah, so this doesn't make it to B. If I open it up to 7, where'd it go? What the hell? 4 to 7, what happened? 8, 9. Yeah, we can see that. So our fingers are 1, 2, 3, 4. We can reach up here to grab that B, and we can reach up here to grab that F, or we can reach down here to grab them. Right then. So then, the question is, why? As there are multiple positions, which way do I want to reach? Because this is 4 fingers. I think it's minimal, right? Like, because there's 2 here and there's 3 here. So if I choose 3, I'm constantly moving up, right? You know what I mean? Okay, so I'll ask Gemini, though, in a chord block, the scale, chord block, scale block, if I can spell, scale block, the scale will reach up or down into, say, out of the 4 finger reach. Why does the position of the chord block favor one direction over the other? Which way is the best choice? Which way and notes are the best choice? Now I'll turn it up a little bit here. Let's go flash. I'll just go fast, whatever, it's fine. Let's go block. Intent, favorite direction. From the choices, whether shift your hand position vertically, slide to a different part of the neck and move horizontal. That's not what I mean. Correct. The favorite direction exists. Software methods favor 1 finger per fret rule. Most standard scale blocks are designed to fit within the 4 because the most ergonomic stable will play. While the scale requires 5 or more frets, the favorite direction is usually whether the class requires the fewest number of position shifts are the least amount of stretching. The B string shift. Guitar tuning is unique because the B string, which is tuned in major 3rd, 4th, this warps the grid. Yes, many patterns favor shifting vertically. That doesn't matter. Doesn't make sense. On the E or B string to avoid stretch caused by its toning. Root note targeting. A scale pattern is something to resolve to a root note. The direction of the block often nudges you toward the most convenient octave of the tonic root note, making it easier to finish the phrase. So, choose your path. How to decide. If you aren't sure which way to move, use these strategies. That's right too. Like if I'm, what am I looking at here? Oh, too much stuff. Do I have 2 of these open? I'm just gonna pop this out because that's kind of in the way. And then, like, if I'm starting on G, shouldn't I be starting on G? You know what I mean? Like, I just ignore these 2 and then just move everything up to 3, and then that's where the scale sits. For example, if I copy this, just as an example, and then I say 3, and then there's that G, right? So that's where I would start, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'd cut out here. So that's really where G starts. And then the next G would start higher. Is this chair really going to be creaky like that? I bought this chair so it wouldn't creak. At least it's not as bad as like the other one I had that was just super creaky. Every little move would be like a super creak kind of thing. Because the adjuster was like super, it was friction based. This one's notch based, so I can't hear the notches, which is good. So yeah, like what? Favorite dials. Okay, so the goal. Decide if sharp which way to move. If you stay in one box, minimize hard travel. The ideal for fast legato rapid alternating pick is where you don't want the friction of a slide. But I'm not sliding. When to favor horizontal diagonal. Melodic is the vocal phrasing. Sliding horizontal is to connect the pattern seamlessly, mimicking how human voice slides between pitches, like blah blah blah. Sound, the diagonal approach with shifting, jumping with a whole hand, favors direct runs, 1-1-2-4 systems by shifting 1 or 2 frets at a time while crossing strings. Yeah, that's right too, because you can go like diagonal. I've seen them. The best choice. There's nothing a best choice, but you can improve your decision making by asking yourself 2 questions. Does it serve the melody? If you're playing a slow emotional passage, moving horizontally, sliding, it will almost always sound better because it is more expressive. Does it serve the rhythm? While you're playing a fast riff, stay in the box. Trying to slide up or down the neck during high-speed passage often introduces fret noise. It's not sliding though, because like you just kind of do 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 do, and then you just move up one do 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 do. Like you just, I don't know what it's talking about. Pro tips: don't just practice block one way. When you hit the boundary, that's true too. You want to be like dynamic, right? Like fluency. Okay, so the real question is, how do I want to build my blocks? And of course, Gemini isn't getting what I'm talking about. Because essentially I should be starting at here, right? It's 3. But that's just for the first string, whereas the 3rd or 4th string starts at G there. Where does it end? I guess it's the better question, right? So if I grabbed it from here, I'd have to end there. That would be the end of my run. So in this book, he has it starting there. It's nice and low there too, though. Because you get all of these things. If I choose, say, this, I'm sort of chopping out the lower notes. So we call it position 1 because it's in the lower range. I think I'm going to go with that. Because I want a lower range. Like I said, if I start up here, then I'll be stuck sort of in the high notes. And eventually, like once I get it under my fingers, I feel like I could probably just jump to these on my own once I know where things are. Once the muscle memory starts to kick in. Okay. Yes. Now, 3rd position. The question is, what am I doing here? So obviously, I want to cut out these guys, right? Because it's about minimizing position. The one thing I want to avoid is duplicate notes. So we have F sharp here, then we have B here, and then we have E there. So I'm pretty much following along with the book. Things are going to get a little different, like when I move into G sharp. That's another thing too. I just realized, how do I resolve the layout? Right? Because if a key signature if a key signature determines the sharps or flats, what is the general mapping for all of them? Because right now I say like G, right? I say G, and then it's a sharp key signature. But if I go G sharp, is that in fact what's after G? A? Is that in fact an A flat system? You know what I mean? Like there's more flats in the G sharp than there is. So I gotta look. Do I have guitar book then? I'll just open up the chat here. the process of creating my guitar practice book, I realized that I have to follow key signatures for the notes and their associated flats and sharps. So if I'm going to have 12 keys, I have to determine which are sharp based and which are flat based, and then build my table of contents based on that context on that restriction. It's more of a restriction. Based on that restriction, give me on the notes, including, I think they're called accidentals, including the accidentals. Assuming that's what they are called. That is what they're called. So I can determine how to build table of contents. Okay, so this is gonna warp my mind because, yeah, I don't know all of the systems and their key signatures. To organize your guitar practice book efficiently, it's essential to map out the circle of fifths that will help you distinguish the keys, rely on sharps, and those rely on flats. In Western music, there are 12 chromatic notes. When building key signatures, we avoid mixing sharps and flats. A scale will use one or the other, but not both, with the rare exception of melodic minor or specialized theoretical contexts. The chromatic scale reference. Here are all 12 notes, including their enharmonic equivalents. Notes that sound the same, but are different. Okay, organizing by key signature. To determine your table of contents, you should group them based on their home key. The sharp keys add one sharp out of the following note, while the flats add one from the following note. Okay, so I don't know how, that doesn't make sense to me. Whatever. Sharp keys. These keys are defined by the number of sharps in their signature. Sharps? F sharp, C sharp, okay? And then flat keys. These keys are identified by the number of flats in their signature. Oh yeah, and then there's enharmonic. I forgot about that too. The neutral keys, yeah. A minor, the relative natural minor, also has your, yeah, I guess so. Order use. Using this order allows you to follow the circle of fifths, which is a standard pedagogical. What? I've never heard that word before. Pedagogical? Define pedagogical. Pedagogical is the adjective that refers to the method, theory, or practice of teaching and education. It describes anything related to the progression of education and creating strategies that people pronounce this pedagogical.
Pedagogical.
Okay, so it's going through my other speaker here. I want it to come through my computer speaker.
Pedagogical.
Pedagogical. Pedagogical. Let's say slow.
Pedagogical.
That sounds like a song. Say the British version. It's fast.
Pedagogical.
Pedagogical. Even that sounds like a song. Pedagogical. I'm gonna actually put that in my keep. Song ideas, pedagogical. Song ideas. I just gotta put it in notes here. Pedagogical, and then I'll like label it. Where's the label? Add label. Song ideas. Song ideas. I thought I had like song ideas. Song ideas. Okay, and then I can archive it. I don't know where it went. Pedagogical, archive. Okay, and I'm done. Pedagogical. Anyway, back to here. So, yeah, there's songs with like equal, right? I forgot about that. They're enharmonics or whatever. So I'll say I forgot about. I forgot about keys with equal number of accidentals that can be displayed as with flats or sharps. Those are things, right? Which keys are these? And what is the general industry standard for choosing to display them? Accidentals. My spelling's all over the place. Accidentals. Still got another 15 minutes left of those. General choosing. You are correct. These are called enharmonic keys, Mr. Music, because we use equal temperament, exactly the same distance. These pair of keys sound identical, even though are written differently. There are 3 pairs of major keys and 3 pairs of minor keys that are enharmonic equivalent. I don't know why. It's the way it's showing me is like, I can't. My brain doesn't like it. 6 sharp, 6 flat. See, so F sharp and D sharp. F sharp major. There's all these garbage in here. Goobly goop. Goobly goop. B major. Flat major. C flat major. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. B major and C flat major. 7 flats, 5 sharp. That doesn't make sense though. We'd choose flats, wouldn't we? Minor key pair. Okay, see, these are enharmonic. That's what it's telling me. It's saying G sharp is the same as B flats. But again, they're both sharps. No? They're not. C sharp flat. Oh, that makes it even worse. Because G sharp is the same as B major. And that, yeah, that's still a flat, that's still a sharp system. Because they trade, but B also exists in the flat system, right? Like there's a B flat and a B. So that's where it's getting me confused. And of course there's the equal ones. This is the one I'm mostly referring to, is the 6 and 6, because they're the exact same. Like it can be either. They contain both the same. Are they right beside each other though? That's sort of the idea, right? F sharp, G flat, F, G, yeah, they're right beside each other. They are essentially the same, and you can pick either. And I mean, I can only pick one or the other. I prefer the sharp system, but E flat, okay. So I guess that's where it kind of creates confusion as well, right? B major and then G sharp, C sharp, C flat. I think it's trying to display the symbol, but it's something's wrong with it, the way it's generating its markdown. So I need to check my messages real quick here. Oh dear. No. People be wilding out, man. Anyway, okay, so industry standard for choosing a key. So let's figure out where this is going. While they sound the same, musicians choose one of their based on their readability. Okay, that makes sense too, right? Because we want less markup. If we can choose 5 flats over 7 sharps, it's not as yuck, right? Because if our key signature, they'll just be like 7 opposed to like 5 flat, which makes sense. But of course, we still have the 6 and 6. So which are we choosing, the F sharp or the G flat, right? The rule of 7, simplicity. The most common rule to choose a version with the fewest number of accidentals, right? That's what I just said. 5 flat is almost used instead of C sharp. By reading 5 flats is usually less visual demanding than 7 sharps, which includes double sharps if you need to raise it a note. Heavy. B major. 5 sharps is preferred over 7 flats for the same reason, harmonic context and modulation. If a piece is already written in a key with flats, that's true to transposition, right? A composer will choose a key that shares the flat-based logic to avoid constantly writing natural signs to cancel out sharps. If you're writing a piece and want to move to a new section, you pick the key that requires the least amount of cleanup using natural signs to switch over. Instrument-specific preferences. Okay, so I prefer flat keys because those keys are often more resonant and have more natural fingerings on many horns. Interesting. Guitarist. Well, guitarists often are comfortable in sharp keys because E and A are home positions on the instrument. The choice of key often depends on whether you are using open strings. If you want to use open strings in your composition, the key will dictate your spelling. The alphabet rule. In music theory, every scale must contain each letter of the musical alphabet. Yes, exactly once. If you are in exactly once. Exactly once. What? I guess so for the staff, right? So when we write a key signature, we don't have to add actually little sharps to our notes kind of thing. That's the whole point. If you're in a key and need to modify the note, you choose accidental that keeps the letter sequence correct. For example, if you're in a flat key and need to raise the 7th note, you will often use a natural sign rather than switching to a sharp, simply to maintain the correct spelling of the scale. Recommendations for your book. If you're creating a practice manual, it is standard to present the easier version with 1 or fewer accidentals as the primary study guide, but you can include the enharmonic equivalent as a reference for advanced theory. For example, prioritize D flat major over C sharp major to keep the learning curve manageable for beginners. Right. Okay, so what about the 5/5? I'll say, okay, that makes sense. However, what about the keys with equal amounts? F sharp / G flat major and D sharp E flat major minor. For the keys with the exact same number of accidentals, The choice is almost entirely driven by the instrument idiom and readability. Because both options require 6 symbols in the key signature, neither is simpler, right? Mathematically, here's how musicians and publishers decide. The principle of readability. The main goal is to minimize the use of double sharps or double flats in the actual melody or harmony. What? G flat major, 6 flats, will encounter this more frequently in orchestral and piano music. It is often preferred because it avoids the F double sharp that appears in the F sharp major scale when you need to lead back to the tonic. When does that happen? I don't understand that. Double sharp. F sharp major 6 sharps is often preferred by string players and guitarists. On a guitar, the key of F sharp naturally aligns with the geometry of the fretboard, whereas G sharp looks mentally confusing to a guitarist who thinks in the fret forms and sharp. Okay, so we're going sharps. Instrumental home keys. Guitar is sharp preference. Guitarists and violinists live in a world of sharps. Our open strings, are the common fingers heavily biased towards sharp keys. The guitarist is significantly more likely to be able to sight read a passage in F sharp quickly because the fingers or shapes are familiar. Piano in the flat preference. Piano too. Pianists are often find the black key patterns of G flat starting on the black key, using the pattern of the pentatonic to be extremely ergonomic. Similarly, many woodwind instruments are built in keys that favor flats. Therefore, G flat major and E flat minor feel more natural. Harmonic context. If you're writing a piece that modulates change keys, you choose the key that makes the transition smoothest. If your piece has been using several flats, you move to G flat to keep your visual language consistent. If you've been playing in sharp keys, you move to F sharp, changing the form or shape of sharp one midway through that requires a complete reset of the performer's mental framework and is usually avoided unless it is a dramatic reason for the change. Summary for your table of contents. Since you're writing a book that's specifically for guitarists, you should prioritize the sharp bass keys to match the instrument's inherent design. So use F sharp major as your primary chapter, section header, and D sharp minor as your primary section header. You can add a small theory note at the bottom of the page explaining these are the economic equivalents. This gives your reader the best of both worlds. The version makes the most sense on the fretboard while maintaining the accuracy. Okay. So F and D are super far apart. I'm just considering here which overall am I doing here. Sharp keys. All right. 7 sharps. Okay. And then minor flats. C major. Okay, so what happens with C major? I guess it just stays C major, right? Because it has neither. The key signature is just completely empty. F sharp. F sharp, G, F, G, G flat, 6 and 6. So we want to go sharp. Okay, so I want to include both major and, it doesn't need to be capitalized, major, and I'm out of time, minor layouts. So I have to decide the table of contents and still include all the keys. Create me a table of all the preferred keys, suggested, and preferred keys, recommended is a word. Recommended and preferred keys, preferred with 2 R's, to build my table of contents. And then I'll go like advanced mode for this. It's gonna take a going to take a momente. So I just had to like do some quick texting around. I just wanted to cut that chunk out because it's just me staring at my phone. And yeah, so major and minors will be separate sections. They are to display triads and bar chords alongside the scale blocks in their chord in their correlating chord progression, in their appropriate chord progression order. I know it seems redundant, however, when composing, I want to be able to get what I want at a glance. Okay, so I'm pretty much done here. Just about give me another few minutes. Okay. Just running. So major and minor will be separate sections. They are to display triads and bar chords alongside the scale blocks in their appropriate chord progression order. It seems redundant, however, chord progression order. However, when composing, I want to be able to get what I need at a glance. This actually makes perfect sense for composer reference guide when grouping relative keys, saves, pages, separating since mental processing time. You're in the middle of writing a song. We need a diatonic chord for A minor. You want to see A minor be diminished yet, and C, E, F right in front of you, rather than taking a look at C minor and having to mentally reassign the numbers. Yes. Here's a revised table of contents, splitting into distinct sections, utilizing the preferred readability keys we've established. Okay, here we go. Part 2, minor keys. So it starts with C minor, C minor, C minor, A minor. I guess so, it's fine. That's crazy though. Like how much consideration has to go into it. Accidentals, 5 flats. I feel like this should be like the table of contents. Just to like display exactly what's going on here. Okay, organizing this way gives a massive advantage for workflow, laying out the triads and bar chords separately in their harmonic order. Right next to the scale blocks, so that you're creating a true plug-and-play composition toolkit. Yes! Thank you. Okay, so yeah. I'm going to call it here. This has to be implemented. Perhaps I'll just make a quick table of contents. Oh, I need my F sharp. I need my G major at least laid out. I'm really pushing things around here. I'll just continue with the pattern. How would you say pattern? What's next? Sampling. Sampling's next. Because today was supposed to be an actual jam, and like I said, I can't really do a jam if I don't have my, what did they call it? Plug-and-play composition toolkit in front of me. Like I did D, and then I was E, and then F sharp, and like, yeah. So I want to get this done, at least G. I'm not sure. I'll do both. I'll do G, and what is G's? Inharmonic, right? It's F sharp. No, it'd be 1, right? So E minor. So I'll say redo the charts and include the inharmonic counter part as a new column. Column's so weird to spell. Inharmonic. Isn't that what it's called though? Why redo isn't? It's called inharmonic, right? Whatever. Let's just let it. It'll know what I'm talking about. Counterpart? No, counterpart's the right word. Because yeah, I think it like actually changes, right? Because yeah, E minor, it's a sharp system. Okay, so I'm pretty sure somewhere it does trade off. I think it's the 6, F sharp minor, 5, 6, 6, 6, 7, 5, 8, 5 flats, 5 flats, 5 flats, 6 sharps. I don't know where it trades off. It'll tell me here. Accidentals and harmonic equivalent. There we go. No, not like that. Minor. Okay, so it didn't, including its, that's not what I meant. I'll just tell it that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. I mean the correlating major minor pairs. I'll say replace the inharmonic equivalent column with this new major minor pairing and create a second set of tables with the key and inharmonic equivalents for appendices, like that. Appendices, inharmonic. Okay. No, that's not what I meant. I meant the correlating major minor pairs. Replace the inharmonic column with this major minor pairing and create the second set of table with the key equivalent for an appendices. I don't know what that's. Just a table, so like it's a direct blueprint. Organize the digital diagrams to build the chord blocks, keeping the relative pairing from center. Okay. Relative. No, you. Ooh. Oh, it is. Okay, I think, right? Key signature. Accidentals, I'm pretty sure, right? It's A minor. Relative major, yeah, okay. I hope it's right. I'm gonna have to error check it because it looks like D sharp major, D sharp major, D minor, F major, Isn't there some that are like opposite though? Will they always be directly correlated? Okay, and then there's the second table. Practical. Technical stuff. Okay, so, I mean, it took all that just to get to the idea where, what am I building here? So for my G, right, this is what the main reason I'm here. For my G major, it's an E minor. It's the relative minor, right? Okay, one accidental. So E minor has one accidental. G major. Let's see. Okay, so if I do insert a new thing, way down here, yes, I think up here, yeah, okay. So then I say minor, and then I say what, G. There should be one accidental, right? G major, E minor. E minor. Show me as letters. One sharp. Good. But of course it's still displaying flats here and there and everywhere. Yeah, technical stuff. Anyway, gotta call it here. Check out my website, JWPsite.com, for my social links, latest news and updates, and public offerings. If you'd like to help support what I do, you can find my GoFundMe by searching for JWP Fund. Like, comment, subscribe, follow, whatever makes you click are appreciated. Thanks for watching.